Hey guys, welcome back to another video with your girl Midnight Nightling. Today we're doing a random drawing prompt generator. As you can see, there was a whole bunch of prompts, but I decided to choose a fantasy scene first. So the prompt I got says, a strong queen dressed in a fine gown or armor and holding court in absence of the king. She's used to issuing orders and getting her way. I'm thinking the courtiers are well dressed but with somewhat weaker personalities. They are in fear of her. The psychology is interesting. Are they scared because they are weak-minded, or she is unpredictably angry? Only the artist can decide that. I decided to dress her in a gown. And the psychology I chose was that she was predictably angry, but the courtiers are also pretty weak-minded. As you can see in the rough draft, there's kind of this girl, her hands down, looking all sad and scared. There's also that guy near the side, who I made look like Hiyotaka from Danganronpa 1, because he just kind of had that feel to him, I thought, or I wanted him to have that feel. I also wanted the queen to be resting her arms on this sort of little stand, like she's at a grand court or something. So I decided to use one of the I don't know what you call them, presets from Ibis Paint, which was the newsstand one, except I didn't want all this high-tech stuff like the wires and the microphone, so I edited that out, which wasn't too hard, and then got back to the drawing. For the outfit of our little shy Hiyotaka courtier, I decided to give him kind of like a navy uniform, except the plaque said Queen's Assistant, because that's what he is. I thought he'd be the one that would do everything for the queen, pretty much, which is why he just looked all obedient and kind of emotionless, but also kind of scared at the same time. I wanted to have multiple courtiers on the left side of this drawing, so I decided to copy and paste that one girl 3 different times, but subtly changing things about her each time. Like, some look shy, some look happy, some just look scared. And with that, we're ready to start coloring. I forgot to bring this up earlier, but I wanted to give the queen snake eyes, because it just added that more of an effect that she's scary and frightening to everyone around her. In a lot of art, red can be portrayed as an evil color, as you can see in a lot of Disney movies. So I decided to give the queen a red gown, because I see a lot of red gowns, and I feel like that's also a pretty regal color with some gold, because I mean, it's gold, it's also a pretty royal color. I wanted to give the courtiers more bland colors, so the queen really was the one that popped out, especially for this little queen's assistant character. He mostly just got pretty bland colors like grays, blacks, browns, and even for the parts that are supposed to pop out a little more, like his shoulder pads, they were a pretty bland gold color. For the 3 courtiers on the left, I decided to give them a little more interesting colors, because even if you're not the queen, I feel like you'd still have some pretty fancy clothes. However, I made sure they weren't nearly as extravagant as the queen's, with just one color, pretty bland, not that interesting. Now that I look back on it, I kind of gave all the queen's courtiers pretty much ocean colors, just a bunch of blues and bluish greens, but I think the effect is still kind of there, that it's not as interesting. I guess you could give them the backstory that they're the 3 ocean sisters. I don't know, guys. I decided to do a pretty harsh shading for, like, everything, especially the queen, because I really wanted her to, like I said, pop, because she's pretty much the center of the picture. She's the focus of the picture, but I wanted her to look pretty mean with her harsh shading. Like, it makes her look all, just don't get on her bad side, pretty much. I decided the light would be coming from directly in front of them, which meant all the sides would be pretty harshly shaded. It would really add that much more effect, I feel. I realize now that the shading on the Queen's assistant, right below his hair, kind of made him look evil, but the intent was to just shade him. For everyone else but the Queen, I kind of put them in a lot of shadow, I guess, because I wanted them to be, of course, not the central focus. I wanted them to be kind of in the back, don't really notice them. I mean, if it was in real life, you probably wouldn't really notice them. But, of course, since it's just a drawing, there's not that many things on screen, you will notice them. The dark colors on some of their shirts and dresses and everything, it really helped some of them just stand in with the background and not pop out too much. Now that we're done with the first, I moved on to the second. I chose a drama scene for this one, and I got the betrayal, the moment of discovery, face to face or with documents, when you learn things are not as you expected. As you can see, I totally used inspiration from that famous Lion King scene where Scar drops Mufasa off the edge, because I felt that was a lot of betrayal that Mufasa did not expect to happen, and I thought I could totally put that into human form. Because I was pretty much turning Mufasa and Scar into humans, I had to keep a lot of characteristics about them. I decided to give our Mufasa girl, who's the one hanging off the edge, longer hair that kind of pops out more, because Mufasa, I think, has a pretty big mane, and I also gave her baggier clothes, because Mufasa's pretty heavy and muscular, I think, so he doesn't have a really thin frame like our Scar character does. I decided to give our Scar character shorter and much thinner, not as poofy hair, because that's just what Scar looks like, and not so much baggy clothes because he's more thin, because he's the younger brother, he's not as strong. I kept their eye color the same, with Scar's being green and Mufasa's being brown. I also tried to incorporate other things from their lion form to them, like I tried to do their skin color kind of like their fur color, with Mufasa's being more tan and Scar's being more of a reddish, I guess. Of course, now it was time to do the shading. I decided to do the shading, or I guess the spotlight point, right in the middle where Scar, I guess, lets Mufasa go, and she looks like she's about to fall. So there was a lot of shading near the edges of them, where they're closest to the edge of the screen, because of course the main thing you really have to focus on in this picture is the evil little smile of Scar and the shock on Mufasa's face. Of course, I couldn't forget the shading on the cliff, so I did that too. I really liked the shading that I did at the end for the cliff, because it really looks like it could be a real shadow that it's in. Now it's time for the final reveal. This is our final fantasy scene, and this one is our final drama scene. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Midnight out.